Okay, hey, this is Mike Kollin again at MikeKollin.com or buy my book at crackthefemalecode.com. I'm getting a ton of really, not only excited, I've gotten testimonials, phone calls, people I don't know, they just buy my book and a day or two later, like, holy shit, this is amazing. One guy says it gave him an awakening. Okay, so maybe it just meant his eyes are open, and that's what the book will do. It'll show you some patterns about women that are the opposite than men. So again, that's Cracked Female Code at crackthefemalecode.com, or it's also on my homepage, MikeKollin.com. That's Kollin. So MikeKollin.com. All right, this is number 3. I'm going to go with, let's see, which one do I want to do here? I'm going to go with, let's go with the Facebook one. How to compliment a woman will be in the next video. All right, let me move this over so I can read it. I'm going to read this to you. It was a posting on Facebook, and it says, her diary. Excuse me, guys. Tonight, and for women, this is also for women too. Tonight, this is a picture of a woman on one side of the couch and the guys on the other side. And it says, her diary. It says, tonight, I thought my husband was acting weird. We had made plans to meet at a nice restaurant for dinner. I was shopping with my friends all day long, so I thought he was upset at the fact that I was a bit late. But he made no comment on it. Conversation wasn't flowing, so I suggested that we go somewhere quiet so we could talk. He agreed, but he didn't say much. I asked him what was wrong. He said nothing. I asked him if it was my fault that he was upset. He said he wasn't upset, that it had nothing to do with me. And let me make this bigger. There we go. All right, too big. And not to worry about it. So he's saying that it had nothing to do with her, not to worry about it. On the way home, I told him that I loved him. He smiled slightly and kept driving. I can't explain his behavior. I don't know why he didn't say I love you too. When we got home, I felt as if I had lost him completely, as if he wanted nothing to do with me anymore. He just sat there quietly and he watched TV. He continued to seem distant and absent. Finally, with silence all around us, I decided to go to bed. About 15 minutes later, he came to bed. But I still felt that he was distracted and his thoughts were somewhere else. He fell asleep. I cried. I don't know what to do. I'm almost sure that his thoughts are with someone else. My life is a disaster. His diary. One sentence. Motorcycle won't start. Can't figure out why. Now, here's the deal. I actually did a very in-depth series of videos on this it was about 8 months ago. And let me go on this first. So she's all worried that he's going to leave her, or he's thinking about another woman, or about to leave her, or cheat, or whatever. And in his diary, he says, motorcycle won't start, can't figure out why. Now, here's an interesting thing. On my Facebook page, I posted this, and a buddy of mine who's in the Marines is like, God, that's so true. He read the whole thing, And then another woman, actually this one was on his page, so I think I took it from him. And then she's all mad, like, well, you don't understand, and I can understand where she's coming from. And this is the funny thing about it. They're both right. All right, so here's what's going on. The female brain, when they have a problem, they talk to other women. They communicate, they socialize, they get the group together, and oh my God, I'm breaking up, or I'm hurt, or I'm sad, or what do I do? Ladies, guys don't do that. Guys go in their head. It's like a guy wants to be left alone. Now, my pastor years ago said, well, when I'm pissed off, I don't want to talk to my wife. I'm like, okay, because when I'm trying to figure something out, I've got a problem. I generally, my main thing is I go to the garden, and he had a hoe, and he goes, I till for about 45 minutes to an hour, and it kind of gets my brain to think about it. And I thought, yeah, that's true. And I've read in a couple other books that say the same thing. Men generally we withdraw. So give us our space, okay? Let us think about this. I had something happen to me 2 weeks ago, and it really, oh man, it hurt, and it was pissed me off. But my brain was like kind of running through all the things and what was said and how it was said. And it took me about 5 days, and then I basically came out of my cave, so to speak. And then I was ready to talk, and then I talked to a few people about it. And they're like, oh, that makes sense. Because what happened was my brain figured out what had been going on for years that I just didn't see, okay? Whereas a woman, doesn't withdraw. And again, I'm not saying all women, but come on, we got a short YouTube video here. We're not going to do like a 2-hour session. Okay, so women would choose to talk to each other. Okay, now the male brain wants to stop and ruminate in its own brain for a while and then come out. So ladies, give them their space when they're kind of freaking out. It doesn't mean they're upset at you. Now I know that's very hard, because the female way is like, well, when you got a problem, well, talk to me about it. Let's talk. A man doesn't do that. Okay. I made a video series, I think it was 3 videos, maybe 4, about a client of mine, I don't know, about a year ago. She started having problems about 2 years ago or longer, and she kept coming home and asking her husband what's wrong, and she kept coming like, well, he won't say nothing. I'm like, nothing at all? I go, wait, break this down. She goes, well, when he comes home, I walk up, give him a hug, how you doing? He's kind of in his own head is what she said. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what men do. And then she goes, I asked him, well, what's wrong? Did I do something wrong? And he's like, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I go, well, he told you everything's fine. And she's like, well, why won't he tell me what's wrong? I'm like, because there's nothing wrong. She goes, how do you know? I go, because he told you. She's like, what? One thing women have to remember is the male brain, the left male brain, is direct and to the point. If he had a problem, he will tell you to your face. He'll be direct. Whereas the female brain is about, well, let's sit down, it's very indirect, and let's ruminate, and let's talk about all this stuff. The male brain, remember, here's what I really meant to say, was it gets to the point. It doesn't talk in paragraphs of information, whereas a woman will describe the emotions, the feelings in detail, what will happen, as I've said in my other videos. When a man comes home from work and a woman goes, how was your day, honey? And the guy goes, oh, it was great, it was awesome. And the woman goes, well, how was it? And he goes, oh, it was amazing, it was great. She goes, well, what happened? He's like, I just told you it was great. What do you want? Do you want every freaking detail? Guys, she does. She needs details, because the right brain, what it does is it puts the details and pieces of the puzzle together to build up the big picture. The right brain processes differently. So you need to describe what happened, how it made you feel. And you got to describe, you can't just say mad, happy. You got to describe that. Well, my heart felt soft and warm, and it was this flowing energy. I know that sounds nuts to a guy, not to a woman, but that's how the internal right brain works. It's about inside, and you describe what happened outside in detail, and then you describe how that made you feel in detail. Now, that's very basic, but it'll give you an idea. So here's my point. Ladies, if a guy's keeping to himself, he's ruminating. Give him a few days to figure it out, because that's what we do. All right, the next one, which is really good for guys, how to compliment a woman. That's in the next video.